Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Bentley Continental GT Speed, and today we're going to see what it's like to live with, starting with unplugging it from where it's been charging up overnight. And you don't really need the full overnight to recharge this battery, just a couple hours, but if you've got a level 2 charger and you can set the charge time, just do it off peak hours. Let's look at spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. I've got the Bentley parked right there at the edge, sitting next to a new Infiniti QX80 that my wife and I are reviewing. And if you want to check out her content, it's at Mobile Mama on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I parked this one, so that's why the rear tire is hovering over the edge of the driveway. I just wanted to maximize space. And there is, in fact, a lot of room to walk between these cars, even enough to wheel a double stroller or wagon through for our kiddos. And the nose of the Bentley is hovering right before the gutter at the front of my driveway. And that does leave enough space at the back to sneak in front of the hedge on the path to my front door. When first hopping inside with the key fob in my pocket, just putting my hand on the door handle unlocks the doors. And though this is more room than you would normally find in a parking lot, you park next to someone, what's great about the Bentley's doors is that they can stop wherever you want them to. And so, while in this case I could swing it all the way out, more realistically you might have that much room. And if that were the case, then I would extend my leg far in, but then just sink into these ultra plush chairs. And closing up that door, though not all the way, because it will soft close the rest. Hello cabin crew, thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 Bentley Continental GT Speed. Now in this video, I've got a simple question. Am I missing something, or is this the best daily driver you could buy? So let's fire it up. I love the greeting of the screen pivoting over to welcome me, and the car is starting in its electric vehicle mode. So there is no sound, but you know what? Let me just show you that from outside. Good morning, Mobile Mama. Yes, it is silent, absolutely silent. If you wanted the twin-turbo V8 to come on, then you could force it to, but it's always going to begin like this as long as there is charge in the battery. And that is going to mean that you're on the friendliest terms with your neighborhood. Oh, and I do want to note that I do have some curb ramps there to cover up the gutter at the front of my driveway. That could be a clearance issue for really low sports cars. The Conti GT has ride height that shouldn't make that a problem as long as you take that curbing at a modest pace. And as I close the door once more, I am presented with my seatbelt because it would just be such a bother if I had to reach too far over to grab that. Not for a Bentley owner. Let me buckle that on and show you where I would place the items I bring with me every day. Like my smartphone, that can go on the wireless charging pad inside the console, and next to it, there is a cubby for the key fob to go, and that is where you have to put the key if the car doesn't detect it. Then to the side of the console, there's enough room for my wallet and sunglasses, and I'm not worried about the lenses being scratched because this is, of course, leather lined in there. And in the door pocket, I was shocked to find enough space for my 32-ounce water bottle to fit without issue. And in the other door pocket, I do have my GoPro accessories. So the storage inside this cabin, it's pretty great. Now I'll press in on the B and pull back the gear selector to go into drive. That will release the electronic parking brake, and rolling forward, descending ever so gracefully over that gutter, and heading away. Now I mentioned the Conti GT Speed is going to start in that EV drive mode, and there are 4 different E modes to choose from. You've got full electric mode, hybrid mode, you can hold on to the battery charge, and then you can actually charge up the battery with the gas engine. Starting out in the EV mode, you have about 25 miles of range on a full battery charge, and that means that getting to and from the freeway at the very least is most likely going to be possible for you. And operating as an EV, this vehicle is wonderful. It's so smooth. Now what's interesting is the regen braking doesn't actually become a factor until you're in that charge mode. So when you're cruising around in EV mode, you're just going to use the friction brakes like normal, and those are very easy to modulate and come up to a smooth stop. Everything is smooth in this car, man. And I'm the dingus who had those door mirrors still folded when I left my house. Not smart. I thought they would just unfold when you started the vehicle, and they normally would, but for some reason, the switch had been pulled all the way over to forcibly fold them in to the sides. Anyway, in the EV drive mode, the power delivery is ultra smooth, and it's gonna stay in this electric drive mode until you either completely zap the battery, if you go beyond, I think it's like 89 miles per hour, or if you go to the full kickdown, and then it will ignite the V8. And much the same way as I felt about driving the Rolls-Royce Spectre, which is of course a fully electric vehicle, there's something about driving this caliber of luxury car as an EV that just makes sense. It's already heavy, might as well add some battery packs and let it just daintily make its way around town. And that is the impression. You are just floating on air, and that's comprised of the superb ride quality and the just inherent way that an electric vehicle accelerates and decelerates without any commotion of a transmission changing gears or any other such workings. And it's so quiet in here. I would love to start my day like this. And of course I could heat or ventilate my seat, and in addition to that, I could also massage it. And I love how easy it is to turn on this massage. You don't have to hunt around in the infotainment screen like some cars. You just hit this button on the side, that triggers it on, then you just choose which one you want, and you do select your level of intensity. Always go to 5. Before I grab my first cup of coffee, I'm gonna show you some seemingly minor but important daily driving details. Things like the turn signal sound, which is a tone of quality. That's all I can say about that. What about the turning radius? Here on a residential street, this big Grand Tour with the wheel cranked is going to clear it. That is ridiculous. This is a tight street. This is a huge car. Now let's say someone cuts me off in the GT Speed and I need to make him hear about it via horn. What's that gonna sound like? Oh, so polite. Oh, what a dignified reaction. Someone who has full control of themselves. Not me, but it's parlayed through the car. Excuse me, you're a jerk. Now, I talked about the ride quality being great, but here on this very broken, uneven road surface, it really shines. It's so compliant over the changes in the surface, and you feel the bumps. It's not like they don't exist, but they come in as just little ripples through the seat. It almost enhances the massage that you still have going in the car. And while some of these air suspension systems really make you hear road imperfections, in the Conti GT, they're not so pronounced that it would disrupt the tranquility of your morning drive. And I did say the gas engine will check in if you go to the full throttle kickdown, or if you're going too quickly, or if you change the drive mode. So let's go in here to hold. And the only way I knew the V8 was actually participating now was I heard the faintest bit of exhaust note. I mean faint, but I did not feel any commotion inside the car when the transition took hold. I could just see that the tach was working, and now there were RPMs building. That's it. It's so seamless. And that also means that, let's just say you forgot to charge up the vehicle last night and it has to be a hybrid today, you'll still enjoy the driving experience just as much. It's just a different flavor variety of greatness. As far as driving posture, for me at 6 feet tall with the seat all the way lowered, I've got plenty of headroom above. The tilt and telescope adjustments of the electronic column bring the steering wheel just to the perfect place for my hands to rest. The only oddity as it relates to the steering wheel is the fact that I love the suede wrapping around, but then it meets leather on the inside and there is this defined ridge. So if the crook of your hand falls right there, it feels a bit bizarre when holding onto. The seats themselves, lots of adjustments to those, and they're so plush and yet supportive. And I will wait to talk more about the outlandish color scheme of this cabin until I've got Mobile Mama joining me, but well, it is exciting. It is time for coffee, and I feel like the drive-through experience is in order for this Bentley. So it's gonna be Starbucks, and am I going to clear the curbing? Yes, we're good. May I please have a tall decaf iced latte with whole milk?
All right, $4.95, thank you.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. Now, while I'm waiting for these vehicles to clear in front of me, if I press hard on the brake, then it's going to engage the auto hold function, and so I don't have to stress my leg out anymore than is absolutely necessary. And if I'm worried about the curbing, if I can't see around the high belt line of the Conti GT, I just hit this camera button here, and that brings up a surround view with lots of different angles to choose from to make sure there's no incident with my 22-inch wheels or my very expensive body panels. Oh, and parking sensors, just in case I can't see the vehicle right in front of me. Good morning, doing well. Oh, thank you. It's not mine, but you know what? It's fun to review.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
It's a Bentley.
Bentley, yes.
It's really nice on the inside as well too.
Yeah.
There's
Do you?
some that just look nice on the outside.
Yeah.
And on the inside.
You like this color? It's like magenta and purple.
It's nice color, like the combination.
I've got Apple Pay. Is that okay?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was like, I can't just take your coffee. Thank you very much. You too. So friendly. This almost fits in the cup holder, but actually the lid is getting hung up on the door to the cup holders and the leather armrest, which does slide forward, but not any further back. So I guess I need to order a grande or venti next time to clear that opening. Oh, or nothing at all. The staff is friendly, but the coffee is not great. Oh, it's your fault, Miles. You got the decaf latte. Well, yeah, I mean, some of that is true. Caffeinated coffee just tastes better than decaf coffee as a general rule. But Starbucks coffee, even caffeinated, always kind of tastes burnt to me. So I don't think in this case it would have mattered. The day is wearing on, and I'm getting a little bit hungry here. The lunch spot I had in mind is not super close, so I will need to get on the highway. But that is going to be a great opportunity to see about the passing power of this 771 horsepower hybrid. So in preparation, I will move into sport. That's going to turn on the 4-liter twin turbo V8 and in concert with the electric motor. Okay. There should be no difficulty whatsoever to make maneuvers, get into the lane you want to be in, and enjoy doing it. Yeah, this Conti GT Speed is very much speedy. Gosh, the torque, the thrust is out of control. You don't even have to think too much about where you're gonna go. Of course, check your mirrors, make sure there's no one there, but just then get there. It's amazing. All right, be a sensible Bentley owner, Miles. Just pretend for a moment here. All right, I'm gonna back off and quiet up for a moment to listen to the cabin volume at highway speeds. Honestly, yes, there's noise. I can hear passing vehicles. Faintly, I can hear this louder road surface come into the cabin. But it's so quiet, it's such a faint bit of volume that it's almost like background, like you're at the ocean and you just hear the crashing waves. This would be on one of those sound machines. It would just be a recording of just highway, but highway from a great distance away. It's very well insulated, is what I'm saying. But there appears to be some traffic congestion, so let me set the adaptive cruise control system, adjust my following distance, and now I don't need to work the throttle or brake to maintain the gap between me and the vehicle in front of me. There's also a lane centering assist, so I'm just taking my hands off the wheel just to demonstrate. Even on this curve, it will follow the lane markings and keep me in the center of the lane. It's not a hands-free system. This is just very helpful. If you momentarily get distracted, it's not gonna let you deviate from the lane, and it also just helps reduce that driving fatigue. So you arrive at the office or wherever you're headed feeling fresh. And during that highway journey to the office, I have the opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, either to hold on to the charge that's currently in the battery if I think there's enough to operate as an EV when I'm off the highway, or if I need to add some back in, I can use the 4-liter V8 to charge back up that battery. But I'm not just interested in the car getting recharged. I want to get recharged with some tunes, and there is an incredible sound system equipped to this vehicle. This NAME 2200 watt sound system that I'm now going to access via the wireless Apple CarPlay. And though it's working great right now, I will point out that I have had some issues with CarPlay wirelessly. Wired, it seems to work okay, and I've also had some glitches with this infotainment system. Usually they would be resolved within a couple minutes, but if I had to, sometimes pull over, turn the vehicle off, then turn it back on, and then they work. I just need to point that out. It has happened to me a couple times. All right, so let me pull up Spotify here and get my playlist ready and turn up the volume. Oof. That's 50%. I don't need it, but I'm gonna go to 60. Oh my gosh. That's so good. That's like one of, if not the best sound system I've ever encountered in a car. The highs, the lows, the mids, it was all so well defined. Zero distortion. I mean, I wasn't even anywhere close to the max output of the system. The bass had some resonance and feel to it. Oh, I loved every second of that. And it wouldn't matter what drive I was taking in this car. I would pause conversations to show off that sound system. Now we're getting to some proper scenery. These are views befitting of a Bentley. You know, it's a setting that matches the vibe of this car. Though I suppose hot pink trim is a little harder to find in nature. Not impossible, just harder. But the serenity that you experience looking at a setting like this, that's similar kind of vibe as inside this car, especially when it's an EV. So let's do that. Coastal moves, coastal grooves. Car's not making any noise, so I've got to, even if it's not good. And I've made it here to my lunch spot, Laguna Feasts. The only trouble with driving such a grand tour in such a small little beach town like this is finding a spot to park it. I think I'll go for this one right here. Looks like a bigger spot. More opportunity. So I'm gonna go into parallel parking mode. JK, it's just me. And then using all the different high-res camera angles, I'm going to attempt to get as precise a pull-in as possible. Crank that wheel. Bird's eye view helping me make sure I'm not going to get too close to the curb. And then hopefully with just one adjustment, thanks to that rear wheel steering, I've found my place in the space. And here we are, tacos and tours. A delicious combination. Let's begin today by putting some numbers to that immense thrust I felt yesterday, and I'm talking about a real-world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record. To use launch control in this car, I'm going into the sport drive mode, holding my foot on the brake, hitting the throttle, building up the revs, letting it go. Gah! Oh my gosh! That's 0 to 60 in 2.85 seconds. This pulls like a freight train with rocket boosters. And if comparisons to a freight train seem unfair, just keep in mind this car is very heavy, like 5,500 pounds. So the question is whether it can handle that weight in the curves. And thanks primarily to massive and optionally equipped carbon ceramic brakes, I think that answer is yes. Secondarily, thanks to active anti-roll bars to keep the body roll in check in curves. And thirdly, thanks to an electronic limited slip differential at the back and this terrific all-wheel drive system to keep the power channeled to the road. This is actually very in control of itself for the poundage on hand. And more than that, just a ton of fun. Wow. This big girl's got moves. If I want to pick at anything dynamically with the GT Speed, it would be a desire for a little more communication through this steering rack. When you've got this much weight, you're hucking it through curves, you want the resistance built up in the steering to tell you everything that poundage is doing. And I get a sense of it, but not a very clear sense, and so that keeps me from really wanting to push this car harder than I am. Impressive, given its position in the marketplace, and something I might really convince myself quite often to take the back road home from work, but not necessarily something I would take out deliberately on the weekends to go canyon carving, and certainly not take to a racetrack. Fun nonetheless. But what's the fam think of the Conti GT? Mobile Mama?
Yes.
You're ravishing as always. And today I've got a Chariot that I think matches your beauty. Well, at least, you know, is a good environment for it.
Oh, okay.
Please take a seat. No, not in the front seat.
What?
Not the front seat. No, I do need you to just go ahead and sample the back seats for me. So I'm going to pull this forward. The seat's going to automatically power slide to give you a great entry point, I imagine.
Okay.
Well, I think it's great.
Short legs. Okay.
If you're on the smaller side, yeah. And then I'm just going to go ahead and bring this back.
Yeah.
And let's see where it stops. Well, it detected your legs. So your legs look like they're snugly pressed against the back of the seat. What would that do to an adult in front of you? That's my question. Oh. Well, they wouldn't have fun getting in, that's for sure. And then when they're in, so I'm 6 feet tall, she's 5'9". When this adult in front of her was in, their knees would be about an inch away from the dashboard, pinched up uncomfortably. My back angle isn't where I'd like it. And I can't imagine that you are very comfortable.
No.
Well, I mean, the seats are comfy, right?
The seats are nice.
What amenities do you have?
Let's see. I've got some cup holders here.
Yeah.
2 USB-Cs.
Classy. No armrest.
Seriously?
No, that doesn't exist here. No.
Not a fridge?
No, it's a pass-through.
No fridge?
It's a pass-through for your skis.
Oh, okay.
Or 2x4s.
Well, how are you going to fit the... Okay.
Do you have air vents?
I have no air vents. What's going on?
Well, air will gracefully make its way up from underneath the seat, and some from here.
Oh my gosh. There's nothing back here for
I don't
me.
think an adult would be satisfied with this arrangement. That's kind of the conclusion I have.
Even the kids are going to have an issue with no air vents.
Well, they'll get air eventually. What about car seats? Let's see if those fit inside the Conti GT. Okay, so for putting car seats in, which is exactly how most Bentley Continental GT Speed owners are going to use their car.
I mean, is there any alternative?
I don't think so.
No.
Not responsibly. So what would you do if you wanted to install car seats?
Well, you need to push this seat as far forward as possible.
Yeah, which you can with these little
and then
buttons.
these, you almost feel like you're breaking the seat. You're just going to yank this thing off.
Oh, please don't break it. This one's so expensive. It's like 300 and something thousand.
It literally looks like you have to break it off.
Is there already a puff in the seat right there?
I installed the car seat yesterday.
And Romy already started eating puffs in the back. So yeah, we're really testing this car out. So yeah, you pull off this giant, thick, what looks like another pillow. And then you can access the lower latch anchors.
Maybe that's supposed to be the armrest. Put it here. Both of them.
Oh,
and then the other one, make
brilliant.
an armrest. Put
Brilliant.
The other one.
This was by design.
Yes.
Okay, and they're also top tethers, right?
I'm not certain, but I'm sure there has to be.
No, I think I see them.
Okay,
so that's going to be good for Talia's forward-facing car seat. Let's install them now.
Good luck with that tether.
Yeah, okay, and also just getting it in. No, actually, that wasn't that bad. So I just worked my way around the corner like a piece of furniture, through a narrow door in your house. It's an interesting comparison, Miles, but that's how I got it in. Now, to get to the top tether, oh, that's going to be fun. Go me. So what was actually annoying about that process wasn't what I thought it would be. I thought getting inside and then getting to the top tether through this narrow gap that you've got would be the problem. No, the real issue was actually getting to the belt buckle. So getting my arm into that tiny little gap between the car seat and the center console area was the real pain.
Sorry that I enjoyed you struggling.
You did. You made it clear
bit.
you enjoyed it. Yeah, I appreciated that. Okay, now that we've got the car seats in, which is how 0.01% of the 0.01% of the population that can actually afford this car would use this, let's see about the legroom. So this is actually, I don't even think is where I'd have my driver's seat. It'd be back further. And there would be enough room for Talia's legs to fit.
Okay.
And I would feel good here. What about you? You are... Go forward a tiny bit. I want you to touch.
Oh, yeah, I'm not touching, am I?
Yeah,
I thought it was
you are
a
a little
sliver.
bit.
I can't, physically cannot.
Oh.
I mean, I guess I can.
Yep,
Oh,
now you're
God.
clear. Now you're clear. Do you feel good?
I feel
Is that what you
great.
like? All right, so our conclusion, I think, is for forward-facing car seats, yeah, you can make it work in this car.
doable.
For rear-facing car seats, don't even attempt it. Not unless you are of such small stature that you probably would have trouble reaching the pedals in the driver's seat. So, the Conti GT Speed is not family approved. But we're gonna do it anyway, which is of course a sacrifice most primarily for me because I actually had to move my back angle up just a little bit more when Talia got behind me. Oh, right. Yeah.
I found an angle that works.
Oh, so you just have to sit and contort your lower back for a while and you're gonna be just
you're fine.
Now question, Mobile Mama, and actually everyone in the car, what do we think of the purple and magenta interior?
What do you think, Tully?
I like it.
Talia likes it.
You like it? I
Okay.
kind of like it too.
You do?
It's a lot.
It's
I mean,
a lot.
I'm not going to choose it for my personal vehicle, but
No. But do you like the contrast? Do you like the white on the like vibrant,
Yes.
like subtle outside, vibrant inside?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
I do too. I was actually surprised at how much I came around on this interior because at first I thought it was like, whoa. But then I still kind of feel that the magenta might be too much for me, but I like the purple. Ooh, and Talia, I've got something you might like. Look right here, okay? You ready?
Oh, are you going to launch?
No.
Oh, wait. Oh. Whoa.
Is that cool? Okay, do we know what these dials are? Okay, so that's a compass. This is a thermostat. And then over here is a lap timer. Okay, you want to go faster real quick? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, blast off.
Whoa, poor Romy.
She loves it. Romy loves when we do that.
I know.
I do it again.
Again!
laughing.
That's the Brandman family. Speed over everything. One more blast off. Is that what you want?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Romy goes,
Is there a massage function?
There
At
is a
least-
massage.
You're holding out on me? At least if I'm in this position, give
okay,
me
wait,
a
I gotta bring the
massage.
screen back around for you to get to massage. So you just hit the button on the side. There's a circular button towards the front.
Yep.
Okay, when you hit that
Got
button,
it.
then you get to choose. But, I mean, it's pretty well cushioned, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good chair.
Yeah.
And it rides.
It's a good chair.
And it rides.
It's a good chair. It's a good chair.
Yeah, you have to talk like that at least once, even if it's in jest. The Bentley rides so nice.
Oh, God.
And what's a good family outing without a trip to In-N-Out?
Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey.
Oh, the line is very short.
Which is unusual, and we're gonna take it.
Okay. You laugh when I say poopy, okay?
Laugh
laugh.
when you say poopy.
All of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Poopy. Again. Do the same thing.
Okay.
Poopy.
Hi, doing well. Would you like any ketchup? Yes, please. Oh man, is this gonna
Oh.
fit? Yes, it fits, barely.
It fits.
That's the first test.
It fits.
Yum,
give the
because we're
girls
gonna
a
start
fry.
with fries.
Here, girls.
Here, rope.
Talia, do your France.
Do your fry dance.
Do Friday.
Do your France.
It's a Friday. A Friday.
Your French fry.
Is it Friday?
Thank
No,
you.
it's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Okay, thank you. You just yelled at her. It's Thursday. She's like, cool. Whatever.
Say what? I don't know. It's Thursday. All right, now that my family has attempted to use the Conti GT in a way that most owners won't, let's do something more traditional with it, like try to fit a set of golf clubs in the trunk. And even though this new plug-in hybrid Continental does have these charging cables, which if you bring them with you, do occupy a good portion of the trunk space, there still appears to be enough room for golf clubs. Let's put that to the test. in this side and over this way. Looking good, looking good. They fit. On my way to the range, I want to address visibility because there are a couple challenges for this car. To see out the windshield, you do need the driver's seat lowered, and that does raise up the belt line on you, make you feel like you're sunk down into the cabin. Seeing over the hood isn't too much of an issue when you do that though, because it's sloped downwards. And I like that there's uninterrupted glass, this whole piece right here. There's not a big thick B-pillar to block my view. You do have the headrest, but it's not as much of an issue. There is a blind spot at the rear pillar though, but that's what blind spot monitoring helps out with. There is also a high cowl in the back, and so while I do have a letterbox perspective, if you are low enough and the vehicles are also low behind you, you may not even see them, and it's also just hard to gauge how far the back of the car is from you. So at low speeds, you'll be relying on the sensors, and at high speeds, the blind spot monitoring system, and just generally making sure you're very careful as you maneuver this car. And I've made it! So, let's go hit some balls. All right, it's about time to put some fuel back in this 24-gallon tank, and there aren't official EPA estimates for the 25 Bentley Conti GT Speed. So if you think about the last one being 14 combined and this new one having that plug-in hybrid powertrain, you'd probably look at maybe 16, maybe 17 miles per gallon equivalent. And if you saw that, then your fuel range would be high 3s, low 400 miles per tank. What I've seen is kind of unclear because this car resets its short-term memory every time the car's been off for a couple hours or so. And so during today's driving of just about 62 miles, we've seen 36.4 miles per gallon. But then if you go to the long-term memory of 937 miles, it's seen 14.3 miles per gallon. So I think it's somewhere in between. And it really depends on how often you're plugging in this car, which I would do every night, and how often you're driving it during the day. And at current fuel prices of $4.93 for 91 octane gas that the Bentley does require, it's gonna cost me $118 to fill this tank. And though it isn't capless fueling, that is a pretty cap. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered if this 25 Bentley Continental GT Speed was the best daily driver money could buy. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I think it might be. Okay, it isn't perfect. The trunk isn't that big, the infotainment can glitch sometimes, and adults or even big kids won't fit in the back seats. But unless one of those things is an absolute deal breaker, it's hard not to just melt into this driving experience every single day. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's sophisticated, and it's stinking fast. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time.